Hey friend, so this is me teaching you how to tie on a waist bead strand. Um, Grab your waist bead, grab some very sharp scissors, and grab like a cup or something to catch any leftover beads in, or you'll do like me and just drop them on the floor a second ago when I tied strand. So bring the strand around you like a belt, okay? The goal here is to make sure you get the strand to not have any type of gaps in it when it's tied around. See this strand, before I knew what I was doing, you see I have a gap right there. Don't like that. You just want to have a complete solid circle of beads. So you bring it around you like a belt and cross it to where you want it to be. You'll notice that there's space in your strand for you to move beads around. So cross it about to where you want it to sit. I don't recommend sucking it in. I actually recommend pushing it out. So you're doing just like this. So you're crossing it and you're finding your spot. I think this is a good spot for me. Now what I want to make sure I do is I don't want to have a whole bunch of extra string right there in my crisscross. So I'm going to move some beads up to make sure that when I crisscross, there's not a whole bunch of gaps in my strand. Because like I said, I want just fluid beads to be there. So I have mine about where I want it. So now I'm gonna loop it much like I would do a shoestring. So just a simple tie and pull it tight and pull it up and down. So now you have some waist bead placement. Okay. If you have not already, you can pull the ends of your tabs here and you'll hear a little pop like that. And the beads will fall even further down to give you more tying room. Some people do it ahead of time, so don't stress if you already have. You'll just notice that you have a lot of string. So see, I'm noticing mine still has a lot of bead. I'm gonna undo that loop because we're nowhere permanent yet, which is great. So now that I've undone that loop, I can push those beads back and really see what I'm dealing with. So I have a big gap, so I really need to fill that gap with beads. And we go back in. So you might end up doing this process a couple of times just to make sure there's no bead gaps in your strand. And it's hard, it's a process, so take your time, light a candle, set an intention. So there you go. I'm gonna tie it again and see how that feels to me. It feels like I got it in the right area. I don't notice a whole bunch of beads. So now I'm gonna go ahead and do the big push, and I'm gonna tie this a basic knot. And I implore you to play with this and make sure that you have your fit right, because once you tie it, there's no going back. Make sure that when you do tie it though, there's no beads hanging in the knot. So here we go. Hold it as tight as you can, tie that knot, and now I have a knot. Bump, bump, bump. My strand is on my body. So from here, you have a basic knot. Go ahead and tie another one. Again, make sure there's no beads in the knot, like it's about to happen right now. So go back out, go back in, get a clean knot going. So just kind of drop it through, there you go, and tie a knot. So double down on that. Not done yet. So now you need to cut off all of these beads. So just take some scissors, hold it tight, cut the end, and just dump those in whatever receptacle you have for them. Do that for both sides. If you have like extra crystals, as you see this is a crystal strand, that's okay, they're yours. Feel free to do with them whatever you want to. If you have no use for them and you don't like clutter, I always recommend giving crystals back to the earth. So now you should have 2 sets of 4, right? Cool. So what you're gonna do, since you already tied 2 knots, is you're gonna take 1 set and tie a knot with it. Take the other set of 2 and tie a knot with it. Okay? So you should still have your sets of 2. Now take 1 string from this set and 1 string from this set and tie a knot with it. Take the other strings that have yet to get tied and tie a knot with those. Now you're getting a pretty solid knot here. Now, last step, take your 2 sets. It doesn't matter which original set they came from. Just get 2 and 2 and tie 1 more knot. Tie it tight, pull it tight, don't be afraid. This is me actually exerting force. Then you want to take your string and you want to cut it as close to this knot as possible. And now you have your waist bead tied. You can kind of play with your knot, squish it to the string, kind of make it feel like a bead, and your beads will eventually kind of just go over it and meld with it. So there you go. And now you have your waist bead strand tied. Let me know if you have any questions.